Recording in progress.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Thank you for joining us. Will you call the roll for us?
Yes. Chair Willis,
Present.
Vice Chair Pease, absent. Board Member Bauer,
Present.
Board Member Eagleston Cheslowich,
Present.
Board Member Heinrich,
Present.
Board Member McKinnon is absent. Board Member Wimmer.
Microphone, Margaret.
I'm here. Sorry, I wasn't feeling well today, so I thought I would join you remotely.
Perfect. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from the public?
No, have not received any speaker cards or raised hands.
Thank you. And does anybody have agenda changes, additions, or deletions? And seeing nothing, we will move on to city officials' reports. Do we want to go through our schedule?
Yeah, good morning. Amy French, Chief Planning Official. We have a date that is not appearing on this because it's the end of March. We're kind of doing the one meeting per month just for resource use and such. So the next meeting I am targeting is April 13th. We have some interest in coming interest from Stanford to come and talk about the veterans flagpole and plaque over at the MacArthur Park former veterans building, former community theater building. Long history. So that's what we're targeting for April 13th. And then hopefully April 13th, we'll have some, I'll put on the agenda the inventory update, and because we've kicked that off. So that's just good news as of last Friday. Project. And that's all I have. So I guess if anyone is not able to come on the 13th, please let me know. Thanks.
Thank you. Study session, Amy, are we going to talk about our
Yes.
not our bylaws? Are we going to just review where we are with the inventory?
Well, I thought maybe because this is agendized, we could get to our agendized item, the bylaws.
Okay,
And then, after that, we could
works for me.
talk further. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So just an overview. So I guess we've started this item. HRB bylaws. The HRB last updated its bylaws in January 2017. And then you'll remember last November, we discussed the new bylaw that was going to be needed to address the expiration of the emergency, which happened recently as of March, I believe. And we have this AB 2449 that's in effect that requires, allows for hybrid meetings to continue, but has restrictions, and the Brown Act applies and such. So we covered that last time, and I believe you all were invited to a training. You may have gone. So basically, because the statewide emergency has been lifted, the exceptions under AB 361 no longer apply, and we have new bylaw, section 6.2, that is a very simple sentence. Board members may attend remotely to the extent permitted by law. And this is something that the Planning and Transportation Commission adopted last November. Just a simple thing, and it just says you follow the law. Then it's your responsibility to know what the law is. So just to go over that briefly, the Brown Act has permitted remote attendance all along, and there's the rules about that. You have to post your location. You have to, we have to notice it on our agenda where that board member will be participating from. And then we need to have a quorum present within Palo Alto. So let's say somebody's in a hotel in Europe, I don't know, somewhere. They can participate, but then we do need a quorum of 4 members here in Palo Alto. So then it doesn't have a restriction on how many times this can happen. So as long as somebody is able to post their location in advance, we know about it, we can do it, it's fine. And then there's the just cause or emergency circumstances. And that is when somebody kind of at the last minute is sick, has, something they have to take care of that we didn't post it in advance, basically. And that, I believe, is this law here, AB 2449, exception that you can not use it for more than 3 consecutive months or more than 20% of the regular meetings in a calendar year. So basically, it's about 4 meetings. And that's it. So I guess a motion, nomination, or motion and second and vote, if those are, if this proposed new bylaw, section 6.2, is viewed as the one we want in the bylaws.
Can I ask a question? Amy, I was, just to clarify, it's, are we being asked to approve attachment B, which has the more thorough language, or A?
Yeah, sorry, that's sorry for the confusion. Attachment A should be
Right, that's the single sentence.
single sentence. That's the recommendation, is attachment A. Now, if the board would like to get more complicated, we have attachment B.
No.
So, yeah.
No, I have a couple of problems with attachment B. They ask for things that I don't think board members could reasonably provide.
Mhm.
And I'll just bring this up because this couldn't be just for our board. But there is on paragraph, in section 6.2, I'm looking at attachment B, section 6.2, paragraph 4, which is remote attendance procedures. It said a board member attending remotely must ensure that there's a quorum of the board participating in person. How would a board member assure that other board members are going to be attending in person? That seems to me to be, unless that board member was to poll every other board member, which would of course be a conflict in the Brown Act. I don't think that works. Also, there's an advanced written notice up in paragraph 3F where it says you'd have to notify I guess the board secretary 12 days in advance that they weren't going to be there. And often that's not possible. Now there are some other emergency things here, but I think this puts a big burden on each board member.
Yeah.
And I would not support the addendum B. So I'm sorry to digress. I'm all in support of simple.
It's not a digression. It was presented as an alternative. And so I'm
Yeah.
appreciative that you looked at it and have that feedback. Thank you.
All right.
I too support this single sentence, but I am wondering out loud whether there's leeway for special circumstances kind of beyond. And of course, I'm referring to Board Member Milliken, who just really cannot at this point, but has been on the board so long, and I would like to be supportive and not add to the stress in his life, and also not further isolate him. So I'm wondering if it's worth a conversation with the city attorney to see if we adopt this one line, we'll follow the rules, but if there's some possibility to make a single exception. And I think also we need to keep in mind when we make this, that we can attend remotely, and we're used to attending remotely. What we're aiming for is to have in-person meetings again. So I think we have to be here when we can. Although, Margaret, we appreciate you not infecting us all. Thank you.
I think that's a great example. Board Member Wimmer's choice to remain at home if she's feeling ill. And that's a just cause or whatever the other emergency, just cause probably category. And that's great that she did that. For somebody like Board Member McKinnon, I think having, where he participates from is what's needed. And, we know in advance, and that's allowed. There's no limit to the number of meetings that can be posted in such a way. It's a little awkward to post where he's attending from. But that's the remedy there.
Okay. It's a detail. So do I have a motion?
All right, I move that we approve addendum A. And in that addendum, the paragraph 6.2 reads, board members may attend remotely to the extent permitted by law, period. That's self-explanatory.
I will second that.
Thank you. Are we going to do a roll call vote on this one?
Sure. Board Member Bauer,
Yes.
Board Member Eagleson Chetzowich,
Yes.
Board Member Heinrich,
Yes.
Chair Willis,
Yes.
Board Member Wimmer,
Yes.
motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. We have new bylaws, or at least amended bylaws. So let's move on to approval of minutes. So we're back to October, evidently. I didn't find any corrections. Did anybody have anything, modifications? Do I have a motion? Say it again.
It was too long ago.
Sounded very familiar to me. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes. October 13th. I'll second.
Thank you. And all in favor? Aye.
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 I,
Thank you.
I abstain.
Okay, great. Thank you. And moving on to the minutes from February 9th, much more familiar. Any corrections to the minutes? And seeing nothing, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the meeting minutes from February 9th, 2023.
Thank you. In a second.
I second.
Thank you. And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I,
And the motion carries unanimously. Amy, do we want to talk about, what's happening with the inventory under just questions, comments, and announcements? Or do you want to take that one now? Just a little update on what's happened since we last met.
Happy to do that. Are there any other, I was going to upload something that I could jog my memory regarding the kickoff that we just had with our
Okay.
consultants.
Well, so let's do questions and comments. Does anybody have questions?
I don't have a question. I have a comment. As Gogo knows, one of the past Heritage board members has written a book about Burge Clark because this is the 100th anniversary of his architectural practice opening in Palo Alto. Hast is going to present council members and the city clerk with copies so that they're familiar with the substantial achievement that his architecture, his work in Palo Alto has made towards historic buildings, the present hotel, the former University Art building on the corner of Hamilton and Ramona. In fact, several of the buildings in the Ramona Historic District block are Bridge Clark's buildings, and there were many residences here. So this is a pretty significant year for architecture in Palo Alto. This is the first year that a significant number of residential buildings were built following the First World War. So just wanted to let everyone know who is listening that that's coming in later this year. And I actually have a question about the status on the Fry development project.
Can we
Fry-
go back to the Birch Clark for a second?
Of course, yeah, that's, go ahead.
Yeah, we had mentioned it at the February meeting and we talked about doing a proclamation. So I was wondering what the status of the proclamation.
I have not moved on it, but we talked about it a little bit before the meeting, and I'm going to talk to the city clerk and Lydia Koo and see who might be the best one to write it and support it with council. I'll probably talk to Greer too, but I think I can find a council member who's enthusiastic.
Okay.
I'm hoping we're in bad shape if I can't.
And the Birch Clark book was being passed around to the board members. Do you know who has it presently? No? Okay. No, it hasn't come home yet. But I was just hoping that everybody here could see it or read it.
I do not know.
I would add, it's available at Bell's Books for purchase. And that's currently the only outlet, I think, that is selling it. And it's worth a look. It's really an impressive amount of information.
Thank you for the tip where to purchase that. I think it would be worth the city having a copy of that. So, and okay, well, it'd be great to bring it to our next meeting and have it on display and hooray.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to be, oh. Okay, David, is this,
Here until
I'm
not.
so are you going to hang with us until we get a new board member?
Yeah, it looks like I'm here, as I understand it, until the new board members are appointed. So
That's nice to stay because it's, yeah, you're in place until your replacement
Right.
is appointed.
technically,
but
I was told it was the end of March, and it might be, actually. Who knows?
if there's interviews and appointments before then, yeah, or by then.
Do we want to hop back to an update on the inventory?
Yeah. So as I noted, staff and the consultants met a couple of Fridays ago, and we went through we finally proceeded with the contract and talked through some of the things that are, and I'll just give you some highlights that I think you'll find to be good. One of them is that we put an optional task in the contract to include the commercial properties that are on the National Register eligible list. Yay, so we're going to actually include that batch with the residential properties. As you recall, the initial impetus was the residential properties due to the passage of some state law, but now we have this opportunity. We're going to do everything that was in that. So we'll be looking back to the 1970s and seeing why category 1 and 2, and come forward with some, a study session, a community meeting that we talked about doing in the evening. So looking towards an April meeting, late April. So whether you're still with us, David, I don't know. But I think I have a target date of April 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. So you're welcome to come, regardless of your status as HRB, David. So that we're looking into possibly having this in the community room. We'll see if that's available, and so that we can have a live feed for those who can't come in person. So that would be to basically introduce the project, and we'll have a PowerPoint, and we're going to publicize this. We're going to put it on our webpage. We're working now on a webpage for the project to announce the hot topic of this project. And thanks to Veronica for being part of that. And then they'll begin the survey. Oh, by the way, you'll be interested to know that the consultant that's helping Paige and Turnbull, that's helping me as well, Isabel Castellano, which you might, if any of you attended the recent CPF webinar, she was one of the presenters, and she'll be helping on that. So her firm is digitizing, scanning the original black and white photographs and DPR forms from that 2000 survey. So those will be at long last uploaded to the webpage, so everyone can have a look, and we can use those to show before and after, because there will be documentation with photographs of how 20 years later these properties are looking, and whether they still have integrity, or whether they're still there existing. So that will be something that happens. Yeah, and then we'll have that community meeting, and then we'll look forward to having at least 4 meetings with the HRB, going through the list of remaining properties, and talking about their integrity and talking about their appropriate category on the city's inventory 1 through 4. And anyways, we'll have a more thorough conversation in April. But I guess mark your calendar. Is that a good date for folks? It's a Tuesday evening. I know it's not your normal time to meet, but we're looking at an evening meeting as we set forth in the scope. Let me know if that date doesn't work. I'm about to reserve the room.
Works for me.
Thank you. Works for me. Thanks. It'll feel so good to get this project rolling. And I just wanted to share that I was over at the DeLamos 1550 Cowper building again with the potential new owners. I think that it's not finalized, but I think it's going to happen. And he's talking about preserving all of the structures. Sounds too good to be true. I found him totally charming. Maybe that was what was going on there, but he's talking about really making it a community historic resource, and having concerts in the back of the property, maybe annually, to bring people into the property and see what's there. He's interested in a historic district. I personally think this is the best Mills Act we could possibly dream up. It's 5 units of housing. It's DeLamos. It's near Gamble. It's great, central to Old Palo Alto. And I would really like to see us push that one. I don't know if we need to actually wait till somebody, till the property changes hands, but I wouldn't think so. I would like to see how we could just do a sample Mills Act with this one property. And I think he would be open to it. I think he's also interested in the historic district. There are 2 adjacent Pedro de Lemos properties on Churchill. One of them I think is about ready to change hands, so I don't know what the story is there. But I think if we don't jump on this one, we are missing a big opportunity.
So Chair Willis, with that, would you like me to agendize the Mills Act project?
Yes, and I would like to invite him. I think he'd be really interested in coming and, hearing our history and, what the possibilities are. I think that would be great. And also I think that it's a positive for preservation. And as we go through this inventory update, we really need to make sure people understand that we value all our historic properties, and that, yes, the city's willing to make some allowances if
One thing I thought I would bring up about the Mills Act is we did have a subcommittee of Mills Act people, and it included 2 who are still on the board, 1 who is soon to be not on the board. And so we might want to revisit and restart that as far as follow-up, because, for instance, if the board were to want to write a letter in support of this a pilot project and select a certain address, this might be something that the subcommittee could take on as far as working together to craft that letter. And that could happen before we come back on the agenda on April 13th. So even though there's maybe one person leaving the board, that person could still work with others. So I think we do at least need one person to go to volunteer to be on that subcommittee to continue the work after March. So that's something to think about.
So Margaret and David, are you willing to put forward this one?
Sure. Well, I'm on the board.
Okay,
I mean, I'll participate
well,
as I can after that, but
okay. And perhaps maybe, well, you could be a citizen member, I think, and perhaps our soon-to-be new member might be interested. Do you think we need a third one now? Amy, is that what you're saying? No, never mind.
We have 2 members right now. Yeah.
Okay. Are you saying we want a third right now?
I just something to think about if anyone currently on the board is interested. And then, yes, we have a new member coming. If that person's interested, there's
Okay,
often nice to have 3 people because that way, well, 3 sets of ideas and
one probably doesn't
6
work.
hands.
A single person on a subcommittee probably doesn't work.
sounds very efficient to me.
Well, and we originally started with 3 members on our subcommittee. Brandon Corey was our 3rd one. So I think 3 is good.
Okay, I'm going to leave it to you 2 to recruit your third. I would, but I'm a little tied up till April, so
Yeah.
Gonna be-
I'm tied up too.
so we'll see. But and I don't know that, we need to rush into this one. I just would like to see it starting to move since it's been really a slog to get it going. And I see this as a really perfect opportunity, and it would be such a lovely legacy for David. So do we have any other announcements, comments, confusion, whatever? And seeing nothing, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Thank you. And all in favor? Yay. Aye.
I
Thank you.